Takes place every 4 years, and this year Cape Town is the host city. This is the first to be held in Africa. This year's theme is Psychology Serving Humanity and looks at using the science to build the human condition. Dr. Cooper joins us now from our studios in Cape Town. Dr. Cooper, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Tell us more on this year's theme, Psychology Serving Humanity.
Well, we felt it's appropriate given that psychology is regarded as an elite profession and that access to services needs to be increased. So the kinds of things humanity faces all over the world, particularly economically, takes its toll on all of us. And psychology has a significant role to play in understanding issues that we confront on a daily basis and also in helping us deal with things like the AIDS epidemic because it's a behavioral disease. So we have some 44 divisions, starting with the first being assessment, right through culture, education, clinical issues to trauma. And we have 103 countries represented, the largest and most spread representative gathering of psychologists in the world, gathering in Cape Town, and we are particularly lucky to have some of the best brains in the field coming to share their thoughts with us. And after this, I think South Africa will be the richer, the continent will be the richer, and the leadership of psychological organizations throughout the continent have made a declaration on psychology and dealing with the issues that they confront in their countries as well.
All right. Now, there are still a lot of myths surrounding mental health within society. How are they being dispelled?
Well, there are various kinds of approaches, things that have succeeded elsewhere in the world, and those are being shared. And in our country, increasingly, more and more people are turning to psychologists rather than relying on their own resources, not understanding the kinds of symptoms they confront, and trying to deal with these is what psychology is looking at this particular point in time. So we have a variety of suggestions that will work in different contexts, and we hope that people out there are going to listen, particularly policymakers, people in government, and in the private sector, because we think that psychology has a very important role to play, especially in times of stress.
Now, why has it taken this long to bring the conference to South Africa?
Well, I think that this is an event that started in Paris in 1889, and it's largely been a European and northern activity. Psychology has spread its tentacles far and wide, and on the continent, the development of psychology has been very significant, particularly in the southern part. We have the infrastructure to host a conference of this nature, 5,500 delegates comfortably located in Cape Town. We bring in at least 100 million rand into the city during this period. So the ability to host a conference is one of the things that's being looked at. As we speak now, there are 2 bidders for conferences that are going to take place, not the next one. The next one is already determined in Yokohama, but there are 2 bidders, Italy and Czechoslovakia, for the year 2020. So these are planned well in advance. And until our bid, there was no bid for the African continent.
Okay. Now, what are some of the problems that are plaguing people today, psychological problems, that is?
Well, the biggest issue I think we confront is depression. The World Health Organization has been listing that as a major issue. Depression gets exacerbated in conditions of economic uncertainty and social insecurity. And as we know, our society in particular is beset by stress. We confront stress in our work life, in our social life, in our domestic life, and these are things that impact on us, and so we reveal the symptoms in terms of physical illness, whereas there's a psychological, emotional base to a lot of the problems we confront, and mere medications are not going to solve those.
You know, Dr. Cooper, I just have a question about something that happened yesterday. We were broadcasting from Durban yesterday, and there was a young lady there, I think probably about 30, 35. She was running around. She's obviously not completely sane, but she seemed to me to be slightly, almost borderline. She was intelligent. I mean, I was asking her if she was enjoying the broadcast, and she looked at me and says, "Why do you care? Why is it any of your business?" That kind of thing. She just came across as a bit sharp, and I felt at some level that society lacks, I don't know whether there's adequate support for people. So there was a feeling that perhaps she could have been taken somewhere, or some of that kind of thing. Do we have enough support for people who are faced with those kinds of challenges in our society right now?
No, unfortunately we don't, particularly in this country, coming as we do from a very violent upheaval that we have not recognized fully. We have hordes of walking wounded out there, and there's the feeling that lots of people are uptight, they get angry, there's rage. Look at the traffic accidents that we have. If you're around the corner in Auckland Park and the traffic light turns green and you haven't moved off, there are so many people honking away at you. There's that rage and there's that anger. We need to deal with these issues because we are a society in massive dislocation and transition, and we have not helped ourselves to deal with these problems. Psychology has certain answers, which I think is one of the key outcomes that will assist us in this society and in others throughout the continent and the world.
Now, you say regrettably in our society we don't. Why don't we have the support? Is it a resources thing? Is it a skills thing? Is it perhaps a societal commitment to doing something about it?
I think that people don't want to confront the issues of psychological uncertainty. They prefer to look at economic and physical issues. They're easier to deal with. But how many amongst us would like to reveal that I've got a problem, I'm dealing with this issue and it's impacting on my work? Or take policemen and women. They confront crime on a daily basis. They're faced with trauma as a result of that. Nobody debriefs them. They expect you to continue with their work. And
they don't get debriefing at all?
Problem.
Is there no debriefing?
They don't really get debriefing. They're supposed to put a lid on it, and they, after all, are policemen and women. They should be dealing with it, but they're human beings after all, and they hurt.
All right, let's leave it at that, Dr. Cooper. Thank you very much. Dr. Cooper joining us from our studios in Cape Town. Very interesting conversation. Wish we could continue with it. Thank you very much for joining us and just sharing some insights with us. So that international conference taking place in Cape Town. What is the time now on Morning Live? It is 17 minutes before 8 o'clock. Oh, we don't have it too short. I'm sorry. I thought I would talk to you now.
I'm quietly sitting here in the corner.
You